So API apps is nothing but actually we have discussed about REST APIs. So that is nothing but if you have a big application or enterprise level application, so if you want to integrate that enterprise application in your website or any of your application, then that is not possible. So for to actually to avoid that situation, they have come up with the APIs. So if you take a Google search, you cannot take that Google search and you cannot integrate into your application. So unless you don't have any API. So that's the reason actually Google or any sort of application or enterprise applications come up with APIs. They have created their own APIs. So API is nothing but actually it is going to raise a request and it is going to get a response like get and post and put method. These three methods are have used. So we have discussed those things in detail when we saw the REST APIs. So like that for all the applications we have APIs. So these APIs has been used inside these logic apps. So I'll show that what are the possible available API apps in Azure Marketplace. Again, these APIs apps reside on same app service, Azure App Service. So in a single app service, we can create four different apps: logic apps, API apps, and mobile apps and web apps. So why we need this API apps? So this is what I have discussed: web apps, mobile apps, logic apps, API apps. So we know that web apps. What is web apps? It's just something like a website. So it needs a host. So for that we are using these app services. And we know about mobile apps. So still I'm going to discuss about mobile apps in another two slides. And we have discussed already about logic apps, and we are going to discuss about API apps. So why we need these API apps? So as I said, to integrate your applications into another application, we need an API apps. So what is the benefit of these API apps? Actually, we have Swagger. So the term Swagger is there. So Swagger is the framework for APIs. So for example, you have created an API app in Visual Studio by using C Sharp. So by using Swagger framework, if someone knows Node.js or PHP, they can take that Swagger app and they can take your API and they can convert your C Sharp language into their own Node.js or PHP language. So it's an interface where anybody can create API apps on their own language. Own language in the sense C Sharp, Node.js, PHP, so those languages. And simple access control. So instead of making use of complicated apps, if we go with API apps, we can easily access like using get option and post option. And Visual Studio integration is since it is hosting on app services, so Visual Studio also supported this API apps. So as I said, without API apps, there is no logic apps. So logic apps is based on only API apps. We just making use of API apps to integrate or automate our business process. So actually, it's a simple concept, but to create a APIs, we need to have our programmatical language, either C Sharp or Node.js. So I'm going to show how to create APIs from Visual Studio, and still we have few APIs available in Azure Marketplace. So I'll show that first before going to Visual Studio. Just go to New, and you can create your own API app by going to Web Plus Mobile and click API app. So once you have defined this API app, it will have a own extension Azure Websites.net, and you can make use of this API and you can get this API app into Visual Studio and you can start developing the codes. So this is just a place for hosting your API on Web App Service Plan. So still we have a few more APIs in Marketplace. So for example, if I go to Marketplace, I can type Twitter. So we have a Twitter API. Twitter connector is there. It's one of the API app. So we can make use of that. And once we configured or created this Twitter connector, we can use this API app inside this logic apps. And we have many things like HTTP listener. So HTTP listener also is one of the API app. So we have lot of API apps. So these are the related like SMTP connector, POP connector, digital workshops. These are the API apps. So these are developed by Microsoft and other third-party vendors. As I said, if you have a own script for your application, you can create your own APIs, and you can publish that API into marketplace, and still you can use that API into your logic apps. So I'm going to show how to create in. So the previous one successfully deployed. Let's see how to create API apps. Just go to new project. This time you have to select web, select web, and click ASP.NET web applications. So here you have different options. So here we are talking about Azure API apps. So just select Azure API apps and click OK. And we have to define our credential subscription details. So once you have created, so that will be used for your publications. So from this, once you have created a script or files inside this project, you can publish this. So that time that will make use of those details, subscription details. So basically it is like MVC, model view controller. So we can create our own models, and we can create our own controller. So controller is the main place where we can access our app. So once you have defined these two things we can publish by right clicking this project. So it is adding the references. So I have created one app service plan already, app service API apps. So let me show that. So all except logic apps, all other apps will be available under app services. So here you can see this is my API apps which I have created in Visual Studio and published from that. So here it has own URL is there, and you can see all other information, the FTP host name and app service name. So if you see this app service name, if this one as well as your logic app service logic apps app service name is same, then you can make use of these logic apps inside your API apps inside your logic apps. So if there is so a difference in app service plan, then you cannot make use of these API apps inside this logical apps. So basically both should reside in the same app service plan, then only you can make use of these API apps to integrate into logic apps. So we need a programmatical skill to develop these API apps. So but just showing like these are the ways to process this, so to create a API apps. And that's it about API apps. And as usual we have other things like monitoring and all other stuffs, tools, application settings. So these are the settings are actually common for all web apps, API apps, and mobile apps. So we have app service plan, we can easily scale up and scale down. We can change our app service plan as well. So deployment slot, staging slot, so everything is common for all the apps. So there is no difference in that. As we have discussed about web app, so that same concept is applicable for API apps as well.